Hey guys, thought I would share a quick little video of the Mark White LACS, the Los Angeles custom shop. I've already started to deconstruct it, as you can see, as it's in the shop now for a restoral. And get it up and running as good as we can here. She is quite a unique instrument. Let me just tell you. I mean, it's like, where do I even begin with the quirks and features of this guitar? I mean, really crazy, right? You have a natural headstock, beautiful old school swoosh logo, which I absolutely love. You know, it doesn't have the, by this time, this would have had like, if it was like a regular Japanese, non-prestige, it would have like the holographic logo with the RG series over here, but none of that. Nope, we just have the old school swoosh. So that is super sick. Obviously Mark's name there. I'm missing the Trust cover. No biggie. I'm sure we can figure something out there. But this is really cool. And this is kind of where the mystery of this neck kind of comes into play in kind of our thoughts. I don't know, maybe the guy who made this, and I'll reveal his name soon, maybe he's still out there. Maybe I can ask him about the details. I'm going to try to reach out to Mark. I know he's on Facebook, so maybe I can get some interesting information, tidbits from him. If he even answers me, I don't even know. So give it a shot. But this clearly was made for Flood Rose, right? So here's your Lock Me Nut shelf. Then it was converted, and they did some really neat thing here. Take a look at this. I don't know if they just machined it, like on the spot, which is probably the case. Because there's some indications with this guitar, to me, that almost seems like it might have been a little rushy when they got the order in. Maybe they're like, oh my God, we're gonna get this done quick. And this is one of them, right? So off the shelf neck, more than likely. This is probably like an RGR neck that they originally just had laying around. Again, total guess here, but it makes sense because it clearly wasn't made specifically for this guitar. Or they were making this guitar thinking maybe it was going to be a tremolo model, but Mark's like, no, I'm a bass player, I don't need a trem, which is weird because he actually uses basses with trems, but I don't know, strange. But anyways, it was clearly converted to hardtail, which is really neat. I really enjoy how they did this. So anybody take a note, if you ever wanted to convert one of these necks, it is totally possible. Totally possible. I don't know what kind of nut this is made out of. It doesn't just seem like junky plastic to me. It seems like it's, maybe it, 95, I don't know, just Tusk, was it even around? I don't know. It's not Delrin. But it's definitely going to be interesting to, examine this a little bit further in detail, because we're going to have to lube up some of these nut slots here and, get it rocking. Another interesting thing, obviously the dots are on the wrong side. Well, there are dots on the wrong side, right? So we have the original small dots, and on the reverse are gigantic jumbo dots that clearly you can kind of tell that they were like, oh shit, we need dots. Zoom, 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 get them in there. But what's interesting is I wonder if that's why this neck is so heavily lacquered. So if you look at the neck, it has a really heavy lacquer to it. Very reminiscent when you see like the pooling next to the frets. That reminds me a lot of how the old Fender and Rickenbacker necks used to be, where they would spray the necks after they were fretted, and they would go in and clean off the frets, right? Not a wrong way to do it, but clearly it does have that telltale sign of like the buildup around the edges of the frets. Really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. Doesn't hinder anything, doesn't, you can't really feel it. This camera's just not picking it up. I wish I could. Yeah, I can't really pick it up in the light. Oh, there you go. There's some glossiness right there. I gotta move the camera so you can see it. But it's very heavy. Very, very heavy glossed. Yeah, so that's weird, right? So that tells me again that this was an off-the-shelf RGR neck, because they already had the pre-drilled dots, and they were like, oh shit, we gotta drill the dots on this side because he's a lefty. Very interesting. So again, very, very unique with this. And again, obviously the other super unique thing is no dots, right? I don't know if that's just a bass player kind of thing back then, because that wasn't a very popular feature on a lot of guitars, back in 95. That's more now in the more modern era. But I seriously appreciate that. I think that's it just adds to the level of coolness that this guitar is already at. But then we move over to the body side of things, paint job aside, the craziness. There's a ghosting here. That's interesting. You can't. I am catching it really good right there. It's interesting. It's almost like a pizza shape or something. I don't know. Weird. But again, it just adds to the history. The paint itself, again, there's like another stripe like right here, which is weird. I don't know if that was after. Strange, but the body is pretty beat. It's seen some life. Let me just tell you that this thing's been rolling around and getting dinged up. Obviously, the worst part of it is that right there. I think everything else in the body is no big deal, but that's some good chunky wood missing there. So we'll see what we can do about maybe filling that in and trying to color match that green as best as possible, just to hide it, just to make it not seem as obvious. It won't be perfect, but it'll be better than what it looks like. All right, I've already taken the knobs off of it. Knobs are interesting. Hold on, let me grab those knobs. The knobs themselves, it's crazy. They were actually spray painted. It's right over here. You can see it. See the texture. Clearly spray painted. Pretty crazy. But they must be original. I would imagine they were probably like, oh crap, maybe they couldn't get these types of colored knobs back in '95. And they just didn't have them in stock. Like I said, I feel like they were like, oh, this guy needs it real quick, and maybe he's going on tour or something like that, and they had to do it real quick. The electronics are a little shot. We gotta replace this three-way. No big deal. As you can tell, though, there's a big elephant in the room. That is this guard, which is original. I did find that out. Why? Because there's no holes drilled for pickup mounts. Like they were always in a pickguard. So this was definitely the original pickguard. And I figured out why, a couple different things. This is definitely a unique pickguard. I tried a 550 pickguard on this just to kind of like line it up and see if the match, no match. The screws are definitely not matching for a regular 550, even though the body is definitely a 550 body, but it's because of this. It's because of this hardtail. So this is going to be a little bit different right here, right? Versus a tremolo route. And I think that's where they had to make this custom. It's very thin. As you can see, it's not a very thin. It's like 16th of an inch or something like that. It's very, very thin plastic. But it'll get replaced. We can send this off so we can match the holes and get it looking awesome. The hardtail bridge is actually really, it's not bad. It's really comfortable, surprisingly comfortable, I would say. Better than some of these bridges that I've seen, although the screw hole's a little sharp on it. But no, you know what? I think out of all these, this is probably one of the better ones that I've seen. It must be some sort of like a Goto or something like that. Saddles can be replaced if we wanted to, like some string savers or something like that. Pickups, yeah, I don't know. Let's find out about those. Let's see. I have not looked yet, so I don't. Yeah, shoot. Screwdriver. There's a screwdriver. There it is. All right. Let's see what we can do here. Let's just get. That's already off. Drop it like it's hot. Come on, drop it. This one-handed is not easy. I'll throw that out there. Come on. Pop off. I think we did. Yay. It's all gonna come up anyways. I'm under the impression that this single coil is like a standard, like single S. It's not anything special. Being that when I plugged it in on that position only, in this position, it was kind of buzzy. So that tells me it's not noise canceling. Yeah, so I mean it's like super flimsy. Let me get this out of the way here. Springs out of the way. Let's see. Doing one-handed is not easy. Any sort of markings? No, that definitely looks like like a stock non-DiMarzio. Yeah, they did not do a lot of. And the wiring's tight. What is you? DP1. Oh, 153. I'm gonna look that up. 153. No, because isn't it Evo 155? I gotta look that up. I gotta see. Oh, spring. Okay, well, whatever. You can see it right there. You can be sucked right to the magnet. God, what is that? 153. 153. Ah, is it a super? No, it's not super distortion because it's got double hexes. Could be a super 2 or super 3. That one, stay tuned. I will have to look that up after I make this video. But anyways, so that's cool. So yeah, so this is just a standard old Ibanez single coil. Bleh. And this is some sort of a DiMarzio. So that's going to be interesting to find out. So this is an interesting event. Now, guys, I've already looked, but this is going to be an interesting reveal for you guys to see. It's not Mike, unfortunately. I know. It is Matty Barato. I do not know who he is. I got to look him up. I got to do some research. In case you're wondering, there's no markings on the neck at all. They use a weird, like, putty substance. I don't know. Is this like meant to be? It's almost like gum or something. It's weird. I've never seen that before. That's super weird. But we'll get. I'm gonna remove that. That's gross. If it's gonna be shimmed, then I'm gonna shim it right. That's not acceptable. I don't know if that's after, but I don't know. Really strange. I've never worked on a LACS before, so this is all new. I've never seen one of these types of stamps ever. Never had a LACS in my hand, so this is really neat. I'm assuming this is July 3rd, 1995. Oh, did I say 96 earlier? So 95. Sorry, 95. Yeah, that's what I'm reading that as. If anybody else can tell me otherwise, it would make sense because 95 was right when he was in the catalog for the bases. Right, if you look up the 1995 Ibanez catalog, Mark White is in there. I think he's in like. I don't know what his contract was for Ibanez, but it was probably, if I guess, somewhere between 1995 and 1997. So, like, only a couple of years, because he's not playing Ibanez anymore. So, I don't know. Interesting. Really, really cool. But, yeah, okay, let's look at those giant dots. As you can see, I'm going to just kind of, hit them with a light. So you can see that they kind of, you can tell that they were like, oh, crap, fill it in, do it quick. It's not, like, super smooth. Not the smoothest. Again, this just kind of brings it to like that extra charm level, I think. Like there's just something really cool, really vibey about this guitar that is really interesting. I don't know what this is. Oh, I just noticed that. Whoa. Some interesting discoloration around there. That's definitely not, that's not in like the clear. That's like the paint. So I don't know if something happened when they were painting this and it like ran. That's weird. Super strange. Super strange. But again, like I said, you can see that shadow. There's a little bit of discoloration here in the paint. And a little bit here. Again, it's a 95. I had a yellow RG550 that had weird paint blotchiness in there. And again, some of this could just be part of the paint. I don't know. This is definitely strange. I have no explanation for that. But who knows? No biggie. It is what it is. It's all part of history now. Again, this is a one of one. You will never find another one of these anywhere ever. So pretty cool. So another thing too that's really neat, right? Because it's a hardtail, right? And it's rear routed, which means there's a lot of wood here, right? If this was an RG550, this all would have been routed out. You'd have a lot more wood removed because then not only would you have that, but you have the trem, spring cavity. So this body actually has a lot more wood to it. So I would expect this body to have a lot more depth, really good tone to it. It's what I'm expecting. So it's gonna be interesting once we get this thing up and running big time. The frets themselves, like I said, are good, other than the fact that they are horribly not level. I'd say about half of these frets. I did it kind of quickly, but half of these frets they're just up and down. The neck itself is good though, nice and straight. Truss rider works great, so it will need a level. Unfortunately, I was hoping not to do that because it's a pain in the butt, but it is what it is. We'll also address the sharp fret ends. There's definitely some shrinkage. Definitely some shrinkage going on. Not bad though. Yeah, you can hear it. That one. Yeah. No biggie, but that's what I get this bad boy for. Well, yeah, it's a pedal cardboard. It's a file. It's a fret curve file. It's paint made especially to do those. So, yay. Fun. Yeah, so super, super rad. I was able to get the Roland synth off relatively easy. Did have some glue residue under there, which cleaned it all off with alcohol. Came off like butter. It's interesting up here too, if you noticed, there's two screw holes. Well, the Roland synth is the lower one, and this one up here is the pick guard. God. Oh, look at that. What is that, like off by like a hair? But luckily far enough away so that they didn't collapse, which is even worse. You don't want that. That would be horrible. So hopefully I can reuse that screw hole right there with a new guard. That one will unfortunately be visible. This one I'm hoping to also add to the guard. I'll have to drill it once we have the guard in the shop. But yeah, no, super, super cool guitar. Digging it a lot. But the frets themselves are in really great shape. Like, they weren't really cowboyed or anything. Like, there's tons of meat left, and they are huge frets. I mean, those are definitely like the ones that they would use on a 550. In fact, yeah, I'd say that those are pretty much identical fret wire. So definitely 550 fret wire for sure, which I think are, is that Dunlop 6000? 6100? Something like that. But put that back. All right, so yeah, super, super rad. Catch you guys later.